here on the Irish Political Roundup. We don't censor, and we certainly like to give everybody a platform. As we said, Paul, from the start,
that's what it was.
Tell the political story.
Absolutely, and we're here today, Roisin, at the Garden of Remembrance, and there's another national rally taking place today. This is the third or fourth rally that's taken place across the country in the last number of months. And as you can see, there's plenty of colour and plenty of different flags, but mostly Irish flags. And people are here to have their say on the number of issues that are happening in the country, Roisin.
Well, Paul, we covered the rally in Cork, and an awful lot of people were saying about, they just don't feel that they're being listened to, or they're being heard, or even being seen. So we're up here today to hear and listen to what the people are saying of why they're here and what motivated them to come here.
Absolutely, because we were just talking to a gentleman from Donegal, and we spoke with him, and it was very, very interesting to hear his comments on a lot of things. He said Donegal are playing a big match today, but he said he felt he needed to be here today at this rally, which is taking place here at the Garden of Remembrance.
Yes, and he also said Donegal also have a motor rally, and he would usually be at home sitting watching that or the GAA. But he felt very, very strongly that he would come here today. So let's follow the rally and see if we can get people to even speak off camera as to the reason they're here, what motivated them to come here, what are the issues, and why they're here.
Yeah, and the numbers seem to be building fairly steadily, so I'd say they're expecting a big turnout.
So we're just going to change the orientation, and please forgive us. This is our first time we've done YouTube Live. Usually I have my technical manager and assistant, but he's out of the country for the next 6 months. So we are just trial and error.
Trial and error, exactly, Roisin. But we're going to head further on down, and we're going to get a couple of interviews with people who are here to find out more why they decided to attend this rally here at the Garden of Remembrance here in Dublin.
And prove my son wrong, the technology is not wasted on me, I tell you. So anyway, it's just that we're going to get behind the rally and see and follow it down. And there is a counter-protest also going on the other side of town.
There is in Dame Street, Roisin, yeah.
And so for now we're here to listen to what the ordinary people are saying, not what the NGOs are saying, or what the NGOs are being paid to say, or what the NGOs are telling their members, or unions are telling their members to say. And it's just about giving everybody a voice.
Exactly.
And that's a democracy.
Yeah, democracy is about giving everybody who lives in it their voice and their say, because everybody has something of value to say, Roisin.
So bear with us, because this is our very first YouTube Live, and it's Paul and myself without my brilliant, adorable, talented son who's out of the country.
Yeah.
So let's Paul. So if you're going to turn the orientation,
yeah.
So we'll walk behind the camera and we'll see what we can get. No, it's up there, Paul.
Yeah. Sorry.
Paul, isn't it? Okay, so let's follow this around there.
Yep.
And talk. And so excuse us now while up here, and we're just doing it, and we're going to get in behind and ask people what their thoughts are.
Right.
Hello, how are you? How are you? We're streaming live on YouTube. No. No. You have a lovely Make Ireland Great Again hat on. What made you come here today?
Because for my children and grandchildren, yeah. That's where it was when we were younger, yeah.
Yeah, we haven't got you on camera. We'll keep your nomination. Yeah. But so what made you come today?
Well, I came to everyone. I come to all the protests. Yes. I've done it, everyone, yeah. Right from the water ones right to now. Yeah.
And where are you from?
I'm from Swords.
Oh, you came. So we
got the bus in.
You got the bus in.
Yeah.
So the rally last a couple of weeks ago in Cork.
No. I mean, when I come to once in
Dublin. Yeah. And so, what are the main issues? Why you're here?
Well, the housing, really, housing and immigration. I mean, like we need to. Ireland's full. Really, it's just full, and something has to be done about it.
Thank you so much indeed.
No
Thank
problem.
you. Hello, we're streaming live. So we won't have you on camera, but just love to know why you're here.
Just because of the state of the country, really. We just wanted to fight for. You talk about it than me.
Well, I don't know how much better talking I am. He'd be better, maybe.
So you're here with your family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just here protesting what's happening in the country at the moment. Like, complete, I won't say invasion at the moment, but what's going on is, to me, it's ridiculous. Like, there's over 15,000 Irish homeless. Nothing been done, and that's growing. It's the most homeless Ireland has had since the start of the state. And there's nothing coming our way. We have no infrastructure for all these people coming in. And we're the ones paying for it. And we have no say. Our government is not our government anymore. They've been ruled by Europe, and God knows who they're ruled by, but it's time for them to go. It's as simple as that. That's why we're here.
Do you feel we have a political alternative?
That's hard to know.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, there's not enough national party. As for opposition in the Dáil, there is none. There's a few there. There is a few there, but very few, and they don't get heard. Mainstream media isn't putting out anything. They're pushing their agenda, and anyone that speaks out, people here, they'll all be called racist tonight on the news. They're even calling they want to take back the flag now. All of a sudden, this is the Irish flag. It belongs to the Irish people, the Irish country. Nobody owns it, and everybody owns it. So they need to stop pushing this narrative that it's all got to do with racism. And we see it with the counter protests down there. We've seen it this our third one here. Walk by them, they shout abuse, cursing, swearing at everyone. Anyone along in this protest even opens their mouth, the guards are out to push them on. They can say what they like, but we can't open our mouths. I've seen it here the last day on a video. See, there's a two-tier thing going on here, no more than in England and all across Europe as well. All we have to do is look at Sweden. 10 years, goes from the second safest country to be in to the worst country to go. They've lost control, and it's all got to do with immigration. People coming in.
And here is a family event. Like in Cork, we covered Cork
That's
as well.
right, yeah.
And it's all the family with the children, grandparents, the boys crying, grandparents with all the family, and the dogs as well.
Yeah. It's just to have Ireland the way we had it when we were growing up. It's really what we want. It's just the Ireland we know that it used to be, and really for him, to have the country the way we had it when we were growing up and stuff like that. Don't mind other people coming in to work and inclusivity and all that. But it has to be done right.
That for a long time here, there's never been a problem, and a lot of the people, they know there's no problem with racism or anything like that here. It's just, why should we have an EU directive from the EU to take people from non-EU countries? It doesn't make sense. It's just happening all over Europe. Italy has had enough. I think Hungary's had enough. The Netherlands, Germany is. It's
Poland as well.
yeah. Poland is doing great. There's nothing happening there at all. What do you reckon, sir?
Your little darling is pointing to the mic. One day, your voice will be heard. Thank you so much indeed. We really appreciate giving the voice to the people of Ireland.
No problem.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too.
And the rally has taken off, Paul.
It has indeed, Roisin, and that was a very interesting interview you did there. There is a lot of frustration out there, and people just want to have their say, and we're going to see, can we get a couple of more interviews.
Hello, gentlemen. How are you? We're streaming live on YouTube. We just love to know what brought you here today.
To join the Irish people against the government and what they're doing to our country. They're absolutely destroying it. Absolutely destroying it. And we need to get out now and say enough is enough. We've had this for decades. Homelessness has been going on and on and on. There's no answer in sight from the government. And it has to stop. It's we, the people, that are homeless here on our country. Irish homeless on the streets is disgusting in our country, and the problem's never been solved, and they don't want a solution to it. And yet they can bring thousands and thousands of Africans, Asians, Arabs, house them, feed them, clothe them. Where is our tax money going? We have to benefit out of this, but nobody's benefiting.
Yeah.
Only those that are bringing in these immigrants or asylum seekers or refugees, whatever you want to call them.
iPass centres are benefiting. The guys that own the iPass centres, they're benefiting a lot here. There was one guy up there, I think he was around the dark. He was getting nearly £1,000 a month or something. He was just for 6 rooms. He didn't say he didn't want it anyway because he was living in the village, and most of the people knew who he was. So that's going to be sort of the next sort of move. Anybody who supports these iPass centres, it's the people that actually own them. They're the people we should be protesting as well, because they're the ones getting the money.
Well, it's the government that's allowing it. It's the government that's allowing it through the EU. They're following the EU directives, which they're opting into without asking the permission of the Irish people. And this is what we have. An absolute nightmare on our hands now. These people coming from all over the world are from different cultures, far removed from our culture. And that you can't mix these cultures together. They don't work. They simply do not work.
And you spoke about EU directives. Do you think it's time Ireland should look at maybe leaving the EU at some point?
Yeah, immediately. We should take down the government today. Simple as that. We have to stop the government because that's where it's all coming from. When we bring down the government in our country, then we will leave the EU.
Who do you think will be able to take over if we bring down the government? Do you think there is a government that can be formed to will work on?
Yeah,
do you think there is a political party or politicians who could take over and run the government?
Well, it has to be we, the Irish people. It has to be collective. We have to stand in unity together. As we see up in the north there, Freedom Dad has had his photo all over the Sun newspaper. He's been labelled as a terrorist with the Shankill butchers. And this is the mainstream media putting this out on the Sun newspaper. And it's disgusting. That man's now in fear of his life. And so the media is working against us all the time. I brought a Lonely 4 Province flag today to see if it can be misappropriated.
Right.
I mean, did you ever hear such a word of the Irish people's national flag? Article 7 is green, white and orange. It's the tricolour. It's the official flag of ERA.
Yeah. And I'm sure you were totally disgusted when you heard that comments during the week that were said if somebody had a tricolour outside their house, they'd be thinking, "Ooh, that's a far right house."
Yeah, well, I went straight up to put a tricolour out my window that day.
Did you?
Bring it on! Yeah, we're Irish. We are the Irish people, and we are a peaceful, spiritual people.
Yeah. And have you been at other protests like this, or is this your first time?
No, I've been protesting the government since 2008.
2008?
When they allowed the banks to collapse the economy and then funded the banks to the tune of 64 billion euros to get them out of trouble, to keep the economy going.
Yeah.
64 billion, and we're still paying that back. The interest.
Yes, yes.
We haven't got near the 64 billion yet. We're still paying the interest to that.
Absolutely. Well, thanks a million for taking the time to chat to us here on the Irish Political Round. Much appreciated. So that's just some of the opinion here, Roisin, that there's a lot going on, and I think the government is facilitating a lot of it, particularly around the whole iPass situation.
Well, you were here today, Paul, to see what the ordinary people are saying and what the real reason of what motivated them to come to the rally. And that's what's most important, is to tell the political story, and without bias and not be reported and not be opinion based. And I think that's the most important thing, is to be show impartiality, because I think that's the proper way to tell the story. And There is so many people. It's just, again, it's just a sea of the Irish tricolour, the Irish flag. And, you know, I know myself, I was at the Dublin Castle the day of the referendum.
Oh, yes.
And there was a lady within my group, and she was holding the tricolour. And some of the a women's group, told her to put away the tricolour because it was be seen as racist and far right. And the lady served her country, and that was the best.
Died with cancer to his liver and lungs.
So that's the main thing, that we have and there's somebody holding up a picture, and so yeah. Hello, ladies. How are you? We're streaming live on YouTube. The ladies were shouting that. The ladies were saying, "Bring Trump here for a week." So that was really interesting. So look at the sea of the Irish flags, and this is our first time streaming live. So apologies if the camera is shaking or anything else like that. We do apologise.
Yeah.
It's our first time streaming live, Paul.
Yeah, and we see a Cork flag as well, so the Rebel County is well represented.
Really, so we get on the footpath and
Yeah.
we can take it from the sides then,
Yeah.
and you can see then the actually how many people are here. I would say that you could not count the people that are here, Paul,
Yeah, there's definitely a few thousand here, Roisin.
if not more. But we're up here and we're curious as just to tell the political story of what is happening in Ireland and give everybody a voice, and especially people who do not usually get on mainstream media. And that was the whole purpose and intention of the Irish Political Roundup from day one.
Absolutely, and as you mentioned earlier, Roisin, there are a lot of families here as well, so it is very family oriented, and it is very, very, very well managed, I must say.
Extremely well managed, Paul. And so was Cork. That was something that I said to you. It was so well managed, and the liaison between the organisers and the Garda Síochána appeared to be excellent. Yes, would you like to be interviewed with the Irish Political Roundup, our YouTube channel? Would you like to be interviewed?
Yeah, if you want to ask people.
Okay, Paul, go ahead.
Yeah.
Do you want to be on camera or off camera?
There's a man.
Okay, we'll get you on camera there. Right, Paul.
All right.
Okay.
One,
We'll
two.
have to keep walking probably.
Okay.
I can't keep walking, unfortunately.
Okay.
Okay. What's your own name?
Max.
Max.
Yeah.
And I'm now joined here by Max here in O'Connell Street here in Dublin, who's at the national rally here in Dublin today. Max, why did you decide to come along to this protest here today?
Because, like most people, I'm extremely concerned about the recklessness of the government and what they've done to this country. I'm disgusted with what the country has become, at the lack of respect for the people and the country that's meted out by this government and previous governments. And they're walking away from with obscene amounts of money in their pensions, and they've left this country in a dire mess. So and the people have to take action.
And would you say that this protest is not just about the whole immigration situation? It's about a lot of other things as well.
I believe it's about everything, but I will go along with the anti-immigrant people for the right reasons, and that's on account of the amount of all the wrong people we have in this country. The lies we're being told about people being vetted coming in here are just that, they're lies. There's ruthless crime gangs left, right and centre in this country. There's an ongoing case at the moment of where a young girl was murdered, stabbed to death down in Mullingar, or Tullamore rather, and her family and the whole scene around it is pictures the whole situation here of what's coming into this country and what's being handed out. Fistfuls of money, they don't have to work, they have to do nothing. Everything is handed to them, and they have no respect for the country or the people in it. And that's a prime example.
And it's these providers of IPAS accommodation, they've seen some of the figures that have been announced recently. There are a group of people who are doing very well financially from providing IPAS accommodation.
Yeah, parasites. That's what they are. Parasites. jumping onto the bandwagon of instant cash to have no concern about the future down the line problems with the people that are housing here for greedy, dirty money in their hands. And they have the country destroyed and they should be punished.
And what do you think the alternative is? Should Ireland leave the European Union, because a lot of these things come under European directives?
Well, for a start, I've always believed that it would be disastrous for the country to become into this European dictator state, which it is. We should have stayed back and watched how Europe got on with this legislation and everything else, which has proven to be a farce. However, right now, I think Ireland should take back control of this small, beautiful country we have and be extremely careful of who comes in and be quick about getting them out.
Okay. Well, Max, thanks a million for taking the time to chat to us here on the Irish Political Roundup.
Paul,
Yep, that's just
really interesting getting different people's perspectives and the why, and they're here and what brought them here and what they're thinking, feeling, and saying. We're just a little bit behind from
the Irish Political Roundup. It'll be on YouTube.
Well, whose side am I on?
You
we like to give a voice to everybody, and look, it's a sea of Irish tricolours, and it's the mainstream media are not giving a voice to the ordinary people of Ireland, and that's what we're here to do, regardless of their political affiliation. But it's the ordinary people. That's what makes up a democracy, Paul.
Absolutely, because democracy is made up of many different people and many different voices, and everybody has a voice and everybody has something to value. So in the Irish Political Roundup, we give everybody a voice as well. So it was very, very interesting to hear the different thoughts of different people, Roisin, as regards why they're here today.
I think so too, Paul. It's telling the political story of what's happening in Ireland. And we be up at Dornairin, we talk to the TDs, we talk to the senators, we talk to the county councillors. And that's what's important is, and we also go out and about and we speak to ordinary people. And that's what we've been doing since we started the Irish Political Roundup 3 years ago. And we covered the county centres.
We did. It's been a very quick 3 years.
A very quick 3 years, Paul, and it's really, you look at there's a flag up there, and there's also another transgender ideology flag. There should only be one flag. I'm of Ireland and above any government building. That's my own personal opinion. Again, I canvass for the no for the referendum. I see that the transgender flag is gone. It's now the pride flag.
Yeah.
Well, I think, as you know, everybody knows my views over the transgender ideology and the referendums. But it's really important that we actually, if we can get on the footpath, Paul, and then we might be able to get a good full view of the flags and how many people are here.
Well, it is a great display of colour, Roisin. There's absolutely no doubt about it. So we are heading down towards O'Connell Street, and we're heading past the GPO. And now I'm not sure the exact route, Roisin. It's starting to rain as well. So it's been a funny. It's been a funny day.
We're driving up, coming up here, and we could hardly see the dashboard in front of us in the car. The rain was that heavy. So, and Paul, I do feel strongly about where people saying if you have a tricolour, you're racist. I grew up in the north where we weren't allowed to have a flag. And then I came down here, and now I'm being told I'm not allowed to be proud of the flag. And my son is in the Defence Forces.
Yeah.
And I'm sure 6,000 men and women in the Defence Forces are not racist.
There's actually a government building across the road from us here, Roisin, and that has the tricolour across on top of it. So, if you're to apply that logic, is on posts like that. No, it's not. The Irish flag belongs to everybody.
Yeah, I think that's what an awful lot of people have been told that they've been racist by the mainstream media platforms,
Oh, yes.
not by all journalists, but they've been told
Yes.
to have this narrative by the hegemony in the media.
Yeah,
Who
yeah.
owns the media? Determines the narrative and plays the tune. And we're here, we're non-biased, we're independent, and we just tell the full story.
Ireland for the Irish! So yeah, we're just coming down past the GPO, Roisin, a very historical site.
Hi, we're streaming live on YouTube. Would you like to give an interview? I think everybody's just here.
Yeah.
It's a very wet day, and it was raining in
is.
Cork as well.
It was. It was a rotten day, but still, despite the weather rushing, there's a very, very good turnout. So the people here, they're certainly committed to the cause.
They seem to have stopped here.
Yeah, must be something happening here at the
Outside
GPO. Yeah.
Are they going over the bridge? O'Connell Bridge,
They
Paul?
could be.
They seem to be like going over the Connell Bridge.
Okay.
So, I mean, we're only a quarter of the way up
Yeah.
the crowd and with the GPO, and they seem to be going over O'Connell Bridge.
Yeah. Are they heading towards Leinster House? I'm not 100% sure.
I don't know, Paul.
Yep. Yeah, as you can see, there's lots of flags, lots of colour, lots of signs here as well. So I see one sign in front of us: "Make Ireland affordable."
Hello, you're here. Would you like to give us an interview, just to say, even off camera? She's a Polish. You're a Polish woman, and you're here. Okay. Okay, so we don't have to have you on camera, but could you like to tell us why you're here today?
Because I'm support my Irish friends today. I'm protest. I don't like the illegal immigration, so that's why I'm here.
And Poland has been very forthright in immigration and politically against what's happening.
Yes, we don't like it as well. Yes.
And yourself, what brought you here today?
Yes, support the Irish people.
To support the
Yeah,
Irish
get out there and not sit at home. Get up and get out. That's the way I feel for it. Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for coming all the way from
You're
Poland.
welcome. I'm a bit stressed.
At least the rain is staying
Well,
off.
what TV is that?
This is the Irish Political Roundup, a YouTube
okay.
channel.
Oh, okay. On the YouTube channel.
Who are you talking about? Are you talking about this march or?
Yes, we are.
Any question like to ask me?
Yeah.
I love talking
Oh, do you love
Yeah,
talking?
I do.
So what brought you here today?
because I love my country.
Would you like to go on camera or off camera?
On camera.
On camera. Paul,
Yeah.
would you like to hold that?
Yeah.
No?
Will this be on any kind of social media?
Yeah, we're on YouTube.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Okay, so what brought you here today?
Well, I love my country and I
Uh-huh.
hate seeing what's happening to it.
Right.
You know, because I don't believe in this government are favouring the Irish in their agenda. They don't care about us. They don't listen to us. And I just feel that something needs to be done. And marches alone are not enough, because we can make as many marches as we can, but they just look on and they are hoping that there's less people here, the rain comes down, that their their propaganda will not be affected. But they're so totally left wing. Micheál Martin doesn't believe in the sovereignty of Ireland, and I believe in it. That means that he wants to just be a European state, and he's in the pocket of the Europeans. Even though someone told me that we paid Europe 37 billion, they give us 22 billion back. So if you do the math, what are we linking with Europe for? You know, should we make a break and sort of say, no more, you know, we're a sovereignty. We want to stay a sovereignty. And And it's not a crime to be patriotic. As Conor McGregor would say, I would love him to be president because he's the only one with a bit of backbone. But this is a left-wing country, and there'll be left-wing politicians going for president. He will never get on the ballot box.
And who do you think is a political alternative to run the government?
I don't think there is one. I think Social Democrats say that they're the political alternative. They're not. They voted yes for taking women out of the Constitution, which I thought was a total disgrace. And it got an overwhelming no. Anyone who was advocating no, they will never get the votes because they get about 3%.
Well, we keep walking up here, they're going to be left behind.
They get about 3% of the vote. If they had an alternative agenda, they would do a lot better. But they're not an alternative.
Yeah.
They just kind of they vote along with the government. And why do you want another kind of copy of the government in power? You want an alternative government, and that's what I believe.
But do you think if you're anybody to create an alternative government?
Not at the moment, no. But what I would advocate is a Marshall and Leinster House. If we can't get in, they can't get out, and lay siege to them. I know it's very, very right wing, but it comes to time we got to do something. March like this, it'll be forgotten about in a few days' time. If you march in Leinster House and say, Micheál or Martin, your days are numbered. We want you out.
But who is there to take over and run the government?
We would
run the country.
We would kind of get people like there's a woman I really love. My favourite politician, Carol Nolan, independent for Laois Offaly. I think she would make a fantastic Taoiseach. She was talking about the mass migration in the Dáil about 2 years ago, saying it's chaotic, and all she got was people laughing at her. Even the Social Democrats were laughing, said that's nonsense. Well, it's not chaotic. And she said it's unsustainable migration coming in 3% every year extra. And she is only, I don't know if you ever heard of Matty McGrath. He's a TD independent TD for Tipperary. He'd be another one I'd admire. I said, what can we do? It's going to be very difficult. Very, very difficult to change this government. We have to take him out. It's the rot that's inside this government. We can't just sort of say, maybe in 2029 there'll be another coalition that's better. It'll be the same idiots, same fucking traitors in our country. 100 years ago, they would have all have been shot. And second, you're a traitor to our country.
But we don't want anybody shot now.
No, this will be a peaceful takeover.
Yeah.
And if we can do it peacefully. But I've been told that there's so many barricades in front of the Leinster House now, it's impossible to get in. But if you had 10,000 people saying, we're getting in and we'll do whatever we have to get in, who's going to stop us?
Well, I think we have to keep the democracy. That's most important. But
I mean,
the voice of the people.
We're going with a democracy at the moment. And where is it getting us? This is supposed to be a democratic country, but it's not. We don't ever get asked about, do you think more migrants should come into this country? We're never asked. He just makes the decisions for us. That's not a democracy. That's a dictatorship. Democracy is government of the people, for the people, and by the people. It's not about Micheál or Martin's government. He's not the only person in Ireland, or Simple Simon. There's just two traitors. They're ruled by Europe, and we're ruled by them, and we have no say in our government, no say in our future.
Do you believe then that we'll keep walking, Paul?
Yeah, keep on walking.
Do you believe that that the political representatives are not listening to the people of Ireland?
They're not listening. They don't care about us.
Aisling, how are you?
How are you?
Aisling, do you want to say a few words for Ireland?
I won't be saying anything, but thank you. Really,
Aisling, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Okay, brilliant.
Yeah.
You do that. I don't know. I'll take the
Paul is my name, yes.
Where are you going to be broadcasting on this?
This will be broadcast on YouTube.
Good man yourself.
Yeah.
And will it be possible for me to? I would like to link into this.
If you send us an email, if you go into the Irish Political Roundup YouTube channel,
Political Roundup.
Send us a message and we'll link in with you. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
I wanted to speak here, but it's impossible because they've already got their speakers. But being on social media is way more effective because you won't be heard here. Like it's too many people shouting and everything. But I did a speech in Tipperary. It lasted for 12 minutes, and I sent it to some people. There were only 7 minutes went on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
But so YouTube would be way better. Is there any chance you could remind me again? What is your
YouTube channel?
Yeah,
The Irish Political Roundup.
the Irish Political RONDE
Roundup.
Roundup.
Yeah.
Irish Political Roundup. Paul,
Okay,
thank you
you're very
much.
welcome.
It's been a great day for me
No
to
bother.
meet you. I was just wanting to talk to you all the time.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, and I wish you all the very best.
Thank you very much.
You don't think I'm a gobshite talking through my hair?
No.
I feel very passionate about it. No, I just wish more people were love the country. Fight for it.
Absolutely.
Well, it's been a pleasure.
Nice meeting you. Thank you.
Irish Political Roundup.
Irish Political Roundup.
No, I think that's gonna.
Yeah. Well, so my colleague Roisin has just met a friend of hers there, so she's just having a chat there. So big crowd here in Dublin, here in O'Connell Street. So we're just gone past the GPO, and we are now on O'Connell Street. Just gone past the spire. And my colleague Roisin is behind me somewhere. But yeah, there's a big mixture of people and opinions, and so it is great to be able to give everybody their say. As Roisin said, the Irish Political Roundup was here set up to tell the Irish political story. And there's music, and there's a lot going on here in the background, and lots of families here as well. So bit of music as well. So a lot happening. The weather is a bit mixed, but no, there's a good turnout all the same.
This is RTE, is it?
Nope. No, we're not RT. Kind of turned on us a bit again. So the rally is moving on. Looks like it's going over O'Connell Bridge. We're not sure exactly where the final destination is, but there is a big crowd here. It's here at the corner here on Abbey Street. And lots of colour, lots of flags. Lots and lots of flags. It's hard to estimate how many people would be here, but there's definitely a few thousand here anyway. I wouldn't try put a figure on it, but there certainly is a big number. Of course, there was a protest here, or rally I should say, on the 26th of April, and there was one in Cork there recently, which we put up on the Irish Political Roundup, so that's definitely a video worth checking out. There was also a rally in Limerick on the 14th of June, and this is the fourth in the series of national rallies about all the various things that are happening in this country, not just migration.
Paul.
Oh,
How
you're
are
back.
you?
You met one of your friends.
I met, yes, and so how are where are we going? Do you know where we're going?
It looks like we're going over O'Connell's Bridge, Roisin. But after that, I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, so are we going to Leinster House, do you think?
Possibly, I don't know.
Let's see, did you get anybody else?
No, not yet.
I'm trying to get my earpiece into the mic. So
Yeah.
No, we have actual audio because what happened the last day, Paul, our audio went. So we bought new mics and we also have earphones. Will we go onto the footpath?
Yes, that would be a good idea.
Will we see what we can do and how we can actually see the route that we're taking?
Yeah. It's nice to meet some more friends too as well.
It is, Paul. Especially someone who gave me my voice and gave me my smile. And that to me is probably one of the reasons why I'm here today.
So I think it looks like, Roisin, there's a counter protest. So I think both sides are meeting now. So it's getting a little bit noisy.
Hello, how are you? You're holding a flag. Oh yeah, no, a woman gave it to me over the yeah. But I'm glad to see we still have ours. I thought we were all finished. And when I seen this parade, I couldn't believe it. That there's so many Irish still here. No, don't take No, I'm not filming you. I'm filming the crowd. Don't worry. I wouldn't do that. No, I haven't done it. And I was standing there. I forgot I had this. And he took the post after that because I was holding the flag. Is that what you thought as well? Say that again. I was holding the flag and a man took the photograph when I was standing. And are you trying to get across the road? Yeah. Paul, would you help us
I will
get across the road? Are you We'll ask everybody to stop here. Come with me. Come with me. Excuse me, this lady's trying to get across. Oh, there's a barricade. There's a barricade there. Oh, there's a barricade. I'm really sorry. Maybe best come back up to College Street in case any trouble to you. That's really foolish. Do you want that flag? Are you flag for Ireland? Are you flag for Ireland? No, I agree with them doing it because years ago, when they started letting people in, they didn't look after their own first, and they let the people in, and there was no room for them. And I said to one woman, we'll sink before long. And I'm glad to see someone against it. They're letting too many people in. I know they have to help some of the world-out countries, but they're all over the place as well. They're going to different countries as well. So they don't have to end up here, And I'm sure lots of people of your generation, they all went to England and built the roads in England. I went to England myself, although I had a job here. But my brothers was there. And I went to look after my sister. She was having the baby. And you had to work. My brother got me a job like that. I was coming back. I went for 2 weeks. I was coming back on the Sunday. And on the Saturday, he said to me, what are you doing now? So I go back tomorrow because I start work on Monday. And he said, no, I have a job for you. You can start Monday. And it was the car factory. It was well done. Oh, I loved England. And none of the English people
ever said that to be normal.
Yeah.
You know what I
We've got
mean?
some guys over here. Will you go and ask the guys to help us lady across
Yeah.
the road?
No, they won't.
Yes,
no.
they will. Oh, go and ask. No, we will. Make sure you get to the other side, okay?
Yeah, but you can't.
If you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
86.
You're 86. Well, you are a Trojan. So you'd like to get across. We haven't got you on camera. You'd like to get across the road.
You can hold the I just hold the flag and man.
Thank you so much.
Can I help you across?
Yeah, please.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Well, Paul, that was a lovely lady.
Yeah.
And the guy is helping her across the road.
In fairness to her, yeah. And it's that's a lady who went abroad to England back in the day as well.
And we'll just get over here, Paul. We'll just go over and we'll have this.
As you can
When migrant rights are under attack, when housing rights are under attack, when migrant rights are under attack, when women's rights are under attack, you say protect women. McGregor is a rapist. 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 Say it loud, say it clear. Say it loud, say it clear. Say it loud, say it clear.
Transgender flags, Palestinian flags.
This is the counter.
And we're going to walk up.
Oh, we'll carry on, yeah.
And look, Paul, I say we're still at the very back because we have a habit of deliberately staying at the back because you get to see the length and get to see so many people.
Yeah, get to meet a lot of great people we've spoken to so far, Roisin. And it's been a very interesting afternoon so far.
And there's an awfully flag.
Yeah, Ufal, yeah.
Very well organised, Paul.
It is indeed, yeah.
Very well organised.
And we're heading in the direction of Liberty Hall and the Customs House as well. So, of course, Liberty Hall is the home of SIPTU, one of the largest trade unions in the country.
Right, Paul. And SIPTU, I suppose all unions, Paul, are very. I'm shocked that.
Yeah.
That the country is so divided. It's sad that there has been a divide and conquer, and that has not been. And the media, mainstream media, not all journalists, not all media, but
They have a lot to answer for as regards that.
I would say it's more. I was talking to somebody there, and they said that Max Clifford saying that in his article, we won't go into it, but his article about the flag. I think that's angered so many people.
I was talking to one gentleman there, Roisin, and when he saw that during the week, the first thing he did was he put a tricolour outside his house.
It's sad that journalists are being paid to influence and use their influence as media to plant seeds and to influence the narrative. The role of a journalist and any media platform is like what we're doing here today, is to report in a non-biased form and to call the government and politicians into account. That is the role and job and function of the media in every media exam.
And so we're heading in the direction of the Customs House, which is where...
Hello, gentlemen. How are you? We're on YouTube Live. We just love to ask. We won't have you on camera if you don't like. Love to ask you a few questions. What made you over here with a stick as well? What made you come today?
Truth. I'm sick of immigrants in this country.
Right.
And I don't mean that in a racist way. I'm sick of people who are coming here undocumented, who are attacking our women, our children. We see it every day of the week. If you're from here, particularly in the city of Dublin or some of the surrounding areas, you'll see it. You'll see the migrants who have nothing else to do start lech and leer at our women, abuse the men, and then cry racism when somebody maybe takes them to task. And I'm not talking about being violent. When somebody says what they've done, they take us and say we're aggressive. There's nobody here. We're all peaceful people. When Irish people are decent. That crowd back there, they're rent a mob.
Yeah.
They just hate. We don't hate anybody. We don't even hate the immigrants. We don't hate them. But we want it to be a proper, this is my view, and I'm sure everyone's the same. We want this to be a proper, if they're going to immigrate, come in legally, do it properly, do it the right way, get your papers. We couldn't go somewhere else in the world, just arrive and say we want everything. And I mean, if they do, I'm ex-army.
Are you?
Yeah. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, I can, yeah.
Yeah. I spent 9 years between 3 years in the reserve and 6 years in the regular army.
Okay.
I'm not the only one. I've actually been talking to one of my colleagues there we were working on. There's a lot of us here today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Defence Forces. My son's in the Defence Forces. He's actually over in Lebanon right now.
Yeah, well, you see, and do you know something? We don't hate. That's the thing. Everyone thinks that we hate all the foreign ones. We don't hate them.
No.
There's no hatred in anybody here today. Maybe that gang over there that are shouting abuse at us. But do you notice any of us shouting abuse?
No.
No, we're not, and we won't fall into that trap. I mean, I have family who are black. My brother is married to a black lady. I love them. I've no problem with colour or religion or politics. But keep it to yourself. The same way, if you notice that gang up there, 3 tricolours, that's all they had. The rest are Palestinian and rainbow flags, which have nothing got to do with anything in this country. You know, I would say Palestine, that's a tragic thing that's happening. But don't lump that into us. That's nothing got to do with us right now. We're fighting for the survival of our country. And I spoke to a fella there earlier on.
Yeah.
He was down from Northern Ireland. He's a loyalist. And fair play to him. You know, the country as a whole, North and South, we need to band together to stop this.
Yeah.
Legally, not doing anything wrong. I don't agree with violence. But if we show enough right to numbers, that the establishment will have to act eventually. And that's basically all I can say to you.
Can I ask a question? As a member of Defence Force, as a veteran.
I'm reserve.
Yeah. As a reserve member of the reserves. When you served your country and you're being told by the media and by certain politicians that to be proud of your flag is racist, what's your answer to that?
Those people never served a day or done anything in their lives to help this country. Any of those politicians in Dáil Éireann, they don't serve this country. There's none of them. They're all in it for themselves. I served under my flag, as did many others. And not just us, not people just that serve, people as a whole in Ireland. We've given a lot to this country over the years. We don't need this. You know, Ireland's a small country with very limited resources. And to see what's happening, it's destroying our country. It's, you know, we don't have the... My brother, I'll give an example. One of my brothers is in his 40s, lives at home with my parents in their 70s.
Okay.
He's working full time. He couldn't afford to get a place. He has 2 children. But the gang that's coming into this country, undocumented, eventually, there was one of them recently up in the Midlands, he was bragging about, in 4 months I'll get a place of my own. What's that all about? You know, we won't get it.
Yeah.
If you fall on hard times, Dublin Corporation or any of the places that do housing, you have no chance of getting anything from anyone.
And have you been at many other rallies or protests like this? Or
I've gone to quite a few, yeah. I'm not militant or anything like that, but I've gone to quite a few. I've been to the last one here. I've been to a few other ones around the country. It's not a hobby or anything like that, but I am passionate about it, as are a lot of people here today.
And you want your voice heard.
Yeah. And look, I'm sure you guys are the same. You want to scream every time you see me, Hole Martin, and Simon Simpleton, on the television, and it's all lies. One thing after another. It's just constant. It's terrible. You know, mainstream media don't want to tell the truth. It's the best thing about it. People on YouTube and all the social media platforms. The government don't want that. They don't want you guys to have a platform. And I mean, I don't class myself as right. I don't class myself as anything. I'm just a person and patriot to my country. I would call them loony left. Maybe I'm a hypocrite saying that, but they call themselves leftists. I don't call myself left or right. I just care about my country and our people.
But I think sometimes Paul and I were both in the Labour Party and we left. I left in 2016. But there is no left and right anymore.
No, there's not. It's all made up. That's made up to divide us. That's all they want. We shouldn't, as a country, like, people that have come on hard times come to the country. if they've come in as like genuine refugees, well, that's fine. But the most of them are not. Like what most people call them is fakey or immigrants, because that's all they are. They're here for an easy time. The government said that was 7 or 8 languages to send off for them to come to this country. They're land of milk and honey. Why wouldn't you?
Do you think there is, people are saying about the government, is there an alternative government that could lead Ireland and represent Ireland and lead in government?
Being very honest, I don't see it. I would have voted Sinn Féin in the past. I don't see it. They followed themselves with that lot over there. And brazenly done it. And look, people are entitled to their politics. I don't have an issue with that. But it's our country. It's it's not a foreign country. There's 5.5 million Irish people. We can't afford to take in 1 million, 2 million. We just can't. The facilities are not here for us to take all these people in. It's just can't continue. And our own people, we can't go into a country and say I'm an alien. I need help. Like for instance, I go to America to visit family every year. I can't walk in there and say I want to claim asylum. I can't say I haven't got my passport. I'll be on the next plane back home. Even if I fell out with the Irish government, I've no issue with anybody. But if I fell out with somebody and landed in America and said I want to claim asylum, I'd be on the next plane home. Why can they not do that with them? The borders are there for a reason. An example, I was up in Belfast last year, and I was getting the train down. I seen people with looting bags with looting on it, getting onto the bus, and I was like, what's going on here? They'd come over from England, men of sort of an Arabic descent, Pakistan Arab, getting onto that, and I was like, they're coming down here to claim money from Ireland. It's wrong.
Well, we'd like to thank you for your service to Ireland and working and representing Ireland in the Defence Force Reserve. So thank you for your service. And representing your country with pride, dignity and honour.
Where can I find you?
The Irish Political Roundup. Here we are here on YouTube. There. The Irish Political Roundup.
Oh yeah, I'll look it up later on.
Thank you so much for taking the time. We really appreciate that. Well, let's even go up, see if we can get up here and walk up.
Music playing here, Roisin, the dirty old town by the Dubliners, which is about Salford and Manchester.
We are here streaming live from the Ireland's National Rally. It's our first YouTube live, so please do excuse the camera angles and everything we're doing. Even our technical YouTube live assistant, a manager, our technical manager, Paul, is out of the country.
Yes.
So we're going to see what we can do, get up here and see what else we can see. Sorry. And it's a sea of tricolours. And there's a Galway flag up there. And see if we can get in up. There's everybody here from all social, economic background and political backgrounds. And it's very warm. It is so warm right now. Hungry, I don't see the clouds. And we are here. Oh, I've never been at one of these before, like yourself, so I don't know where the... we'll just stop here for a little moment, Paul. And we'll just... And
We're just outside the customs house here now, Roisin.
right.
There's that, here it has.
Hello, how are you? We're here on YouTube Live. We just love to ask you. No? Do you want to talk? And I just dropped my mic.
Yeah.
Which station are you from?
There's the Ranger.
What is it trying to record?
Sorry?
What are you trying to record?
We're reporting on this rally that's taking place.
It's a mad protest against immigration.
Yeah.
Military age men coming in. That's what it's all about. The Irish not getting looked after by the government. That's basically it. All you need to know.
Yeah, would you like to talk about it? Speech is happening now. That's the street there, I think.
It's not easy to come out and to do this, particularly on coffee and 2 days on, or 1 day on in some cases. Now, people often wonder what effect these protests have, and I mean, I can see in front of me thousands and thousands of Irish people who just want Ireland to be normal again and continue to come out and show not only that they're but they also come out to celebrate Ireland, which is what today is. It's not just a protest, it's a celebration of being Irish. And that's something that most people don't get to experience anymore. You're not allowed to be proud to be Irish anymore. But you are today. With that said, I'm going to introduce a man who's going to sing a song for us. Stephen Suchon. He's going to sing "Oh Row, Say About What It."
Thank you.
Say the banda younger they are great. To be in the villa, the girl is my love. It's too dear to listen to oh, Roshida, oh, yeah, oh, Roshida, oh, yeah, oh, Roshida, oh, yeah. And it's a up and cold. God run your way, like Chuck has all you. Oh, me, I'm a lame, my God. The gaily played is big on the spawny. When she's losing the ground, and oh, and it's a up and cold. Lorena Bjart, och jag kan mona vid en bjau en eg av sjakten, dran jag väl, det smile gøyska. Jeg faubert fine gale på, Roshida ba, oh, alje, oh, Roshida ba, oh, alje, oh, Roshida ba, oh, alje. And it's a up and cold, Reese, oh, Roshida ba, oh, alje, oh, Roshida ba, oh, Roshida ba, oh, alje. And it's a up and cold. Thanks very much, Stephen, for that. And with that, I'm going to announce or welcome the fourth speaker to the stage, the great Kenny woman, Michelle Keane.
Friends, neighbours, people of Era, and the proud People's Republic of Dublin, welcome! I stand before you, not in anger, but in unity, calling on every single one of you to rise to one purpose: an Ireland free, an Ireland independent, and an Ireland no longer ruled by Brussels or by a failed Irish cobbled together government of Here we stand at the Custom House, a place etched into the very soul of our Irish resistance, a place where the fight for our freedom was never surrendered. But before this, we gathered at the Garden of Remembrance, a sacred space, a hallowed ground. This garden is no ordinary place. It is the beating heart of our nation's memory. Every stone, every whisper in the wind carries the story of those who gave everything. Men and women who dreamed of a free Ireland and paid the ultimate price. We remember Father Francis Ryan, who went to heaven this week, the rebel priest who risked everything for Ireland's freedom. They may bury the man, but they will never bury his father.
Thank you.
Yes, so good. But you're talking about the problem.
Thank you. We came out to the side because I thought I was going to pass out.
Yeah. We have Michelle Keane from Kerry is speaking now on the podium.
I thought I was going to pass out with the heat.
Yeah, it's warm. It was
we're
warm.
going to stand to the back of the podium where we can still have a visual, and maybe we might be able to see other people as well.
Yeah.
Other people.
It's so hard.
We're at the back of the podium, Paul.
They are indeed, yeah.
And if I can, again, we're streaming live, and I tried to make the tripod. Sorry for any.
How are you doing?
How are you? And we're now joined by John from Online Media News. John, you're very welcome to the Irish Political Roundup.
How are you? It's good to see Michelle and fire up on the stage today.
It's so warm, isn't it? I mean, we were in the middle there and we said, okay, we'll come back out because of the heat.
I just want to announce that if you like the new website.
John, will we put you on camera? Would you like to go on camera?
It's a new website to get all our journalists together called Freelance Journalist Ireland.ie. So it'll be a centralised place where we can all get on together and share our views and whatever. And there'll be private messaging. So you'll be able to set up your own profile. So each and every one will be able to, if they want to do a bit of advertising and what to do as well, they can actually put on maybe a little ad or something as well for their businesses, as well as the journalism or whatever to be done after the journalism, now with the journalism. So that's about it. How did you come up today? Did you drive up?
We drove up and then we left the car and then we decided to walk, get the Lear film in. Sorry, John. John, how many people would you estimate is here today?
It's massive. Massive. I'm not supposed to be interviewed. I'm used to doing the interview. I don't know.
But we have
very cool mics in there.
It's just amazing.
Yeah. So it's on fire up there today, isn't it? I was talking to the early on.
And any other things because we probably won't be able to pick up her speech in this audio anyway, but the ordinary people, they can watch on the other channels to hear her actual speech. But what other news is coming up? We met you down in Cork at the Cork rally, John, and so your online news.ie, you just give your information for the new website. What are you hearing? What are you hearing in the background of everything?
I would like to tell you, but I was saying I couldn't forget. I couldn't read what people are saying. But there's a lot of anger in the country now, I think. A lot of fear. I think people are very fearful now and they're beginning to see our country being completely annihilated, really. Like we're becoming just like walking around Cork City now. My own town of Tallow, where I'm from. Like my nephew now is living inside my house with his girlfriend with a child, and they were being made homeless. They tried 20-mile radius trying to get a house. They've 5 or 6 towns. So eventually they just came to me to know whether they could let them in. So they're now living in the house. They're hoping until they get a house at least or whatever. So I had to move out because they have a young child, so I couldn't be living in the house. So I lived with the boss.
And John, it's a sea. I've never seen so many tricolours.
I tell you, my father will be proud man today. So you're looking around this today after he fighting for the country. I must tell you something he said to me. I said to him, how did you put up with the black and tanners coming into the country? I said, how did you cope with it? He said, because you were under a lot of pressure for years prior to this. And he said, you just have to believe, he said, you want to beat them.
Yeah, and?
He said, that you just want to have believed that you're going to beat them, he said. So,
and that time was nearly 100 years ago. Ireland was in a difficult place then. How would you say we are nearly 100 years later?
I think in actual fact we're heading to the same direction that my father found himself in at that stage. And it's getting worse because we're being ruled by people from Europe. So we have no control of actually what's going on in the country at all. It's just completely beyond our scope. And the politicians are just seem to be like puppets.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then we have the media. Nearly all our media is owned by foreign companies. So, and as I call them on my website, the parrot media, just to repeat everything one after the other. So you'll see one article and then it just repeats. But now with the new site, we'll begin to get, I hope now, get all our journalists together in the one place, and we'll have a strong voice, I think, for the people of Ireland as well.
Yeah, because do you feel having a platform like that is the best way to build an alternative media platform?
Well, I think, and I was talking to Russian, I think the times are changing here in our country. You can see it here today. This is an accumulation of a lot of marches around the country.
Yeah.
And today they've arrived here in, I don't know how many people there, but I've never seen a march this big in Ireland. And I'm a lot fun around the country, I can tell you. But I've never seen that. And it's just, it does my heart good today to see this. I don't know about anyone else, but I feel a proud Irishman today. And to honour my father, I am going to fight online or do whatever I have to do to free this country from the tyranny of the politicians that are now running it.
The flag there. John, a lot of people are saying the government act, but who is there to lead the country?
Sorry,
who is there to lead the country?
There were 70,000 people left our country last year, according to the CSO. Now there's probably double the size of that. You couldn't believe a word that's on that website, to be honest about it. I went into that office several times looking for figures of various things, and you'd want to be a mathematician to follow the figures and how they're supposed to get them, and they've them all hidden. They've all the stuff hidden inside in different pockets in the ring. So it's been a hard road for a lot of people to get to here today, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
No, we left Cork this morning there about 8:30 to get up here. How many more people have been like us, including yourselves, coming up here to Kilkenny? It's brilliant, I think. How lovely Irish people. I've travelled around the world actually playing music, and I love to come home to my lovely country, but it's just been wiped out. It's just been, it's frightening, you know, as an Irish person. I was assaulted down I was verbally assaulted in Callow. Not this year, no, but last year, as I was walking to the shop one evening, and 4 guys comes up, not Irish guys, no, I won't say what they were from. They just verbally abused me, walking down the street, minding my own business, and they're constantly a gang of them now standing out of one of the shops down there as well, they're abusing people running out of the shops there as well. So it's going to be a scary country now, like, for us to be living in. So, any more than that, I don't know what to say.
I see over there, look, that there's an English flag and there's a tricolour side by side. Let's see if we can get that in there. So it's really good. Everybody is coming together. I can see that's an English flag, isn't it? St. George flag. And it's really interesting. Outstanding. John, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. We really appreciate that.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, it's lovely to meet you, actually.
Yes.
And one time, we give this a couple of months, we'll have to get out, so we have a meet, we can all we'll get all the. Do you know what, Carol?
No.
This is a very interesting interview now for you.
No? You should come and give an interview. We're streaming live, but we haven't got you on video. You're here with us, baby. Yeah. And you're wearing a Lake Island Bennigan hat. I am.
She's from Chile. And she was like the court case for Michelle. And she got thrown out. She wanted to give evidence, and the judge got her removed by the guards.
Because of stuff that I say about my great.
All right.
Michelle got brought up for defamation, but I have proof that I was telling the truth and they didn't want it heard.
And you got the great make out in great
Yeah.
and that little son.
It's for the future.
How old is your son?
That's my youngest. He's 6 months.
Oh,
and I have
very big for 6 months.
Yeah, I have another 3, and this is all for them. So that's why I'm doing this.
Well, thank you for talking.
Yeah,
to us
no
here.
problem.
Thank you. Oh, we're standing here at the back of the podium.
Yeah, we're just up by the custom house.
It's too warm to actually go in.
It is
I
very
thought I was
warm
gonna
indeed.
pass out. It's absolutely warm. And there's jet skis down
Jet skis.
there.
Yeah.
We're deliberately standing at the back as it's just so warm, it's so crowded, so many people. And we were talking to lots of other people as well off the record, Paul.
Yeah, we are indeed,
and off air. And these were top professional people within our country.
Absolutely, yeah.
Highly educated, top professionals. And they are quite concerned as well.
Absolutely.
It's just not a working class, it's also a middle class issue and problem. Everybody is saying, and this is not what is not being reported in the news. Hi, how are you? We're actually, you keep talking.
Yeah. As Roisin said, we've been speaking to a range of different people with various different backgrounds, and there is a great sense of anger and frustration out there. Well, camera just held there, thankfully. But yeah, definitely a sea of Irish flags, and we saw Georgia's flag over there beside an Irish flag, so just shows people are coming together to show their support or frustration as regards what's happening in this country, as regards immigration and various other different issues that are being represented today. And the podium is there. It's there in front of us. We're just here at the Customs House, a very famous place, which of course was the home of the Department of Local Government and Housing. Of course, housing a massive issue, with over 15,000 people currently classed as homeless here in Ireland. And we have somebody with.
Let's turn this around and let's make it turn the orientation around. So we're at the very back because I just could not stay in the heat that was in the
crowd. Well, it's a mighty crowd, so it's
So what brought you here today?
Look, I came here today for the simple reason that we have an immigration crisis in this country. We know the issues around illegal migration in terms of anyone who is in this country illegally should be detained and deported as soon as possible. I don't think anyone can even support illegal immigration. But I think the question has now come about, and I think there is real discourse on this, and it's the issue of legal immigration. In just the past few years, we've seen a massive uptake in the issuing of work visas. The past 3 years, we've seen roughly 100,000 work visas per year being issued to people, when only just a few years before that, it would have been half the rate. And we have that in a time of mass emigration, young people who have studied and worked hard to try and make a life for themselves in this country. They're having to go abroad, whether it be to England, to the continent, to Australia. Yeah. So we are exporting our youth, who we have put so much time and energy and resources into training up, whether they want to go into teaching or the health and social care service. These young people, because of the cost of living, because pay conditions aren't good, they're leaving and going and getting better opportunities. But instead of the government thinking, well, we may improve pay conditions for workers, we may make this a livable country for ordinary workers. The solution from government is to mass import low-paid workers, and this is the problem. legal immigration is a tool of capitalism in a lot of ways. When you bring in a mass amount of legal migrants to work in the likes of the health service, to work in manufacturing, to work in factories, the bad jobs that the Irish won't work, which I think is very...
It's got a false narrative.
It is a false narrative. I look at the job market in South Kildare, where we would have in some parts a high rate of unemployment. There's very few jobs going for people. And even the jobs that are going, particularly I think of people working in health and social care, they're being paid a pittance for what is one of the most important jobs someone can do. And these are brilliant quality workers, people who are Irish workers, who are being shunned and being told, go abroad if you want better pay.
And are highly educated.
Exactly.
Doctors, engineers, lawyers, and there's even people leaving the Garda Síochána going and joining the Australian.
I've been getting ads on TikTok from the South Australian police. Look at these are ads targeted to Ireland, trying to get people either in the Gardaí or interested in joining the Gardaí to get them to go work abroad for the Australian police because they have a better lifestyle, better pay conditions. Better pay conditions, and as well they are just given more respect on the job. And I think there's a whole issue around the Gardaí and given enough respect or resource. But no, this government's policy of get rid of our own workers and bring in mass amounts of foreign workers, it's undercutting our workers in terms of it gives businesses an opportunity to pay as little as possible. Because
then it brings in the human trafficking.
Yeah, and that's been an issue for years now, even going back as far as the introduction of freedom of movement in the European Union with a lot of the former Soviet countries, where obviously those countries post the fall of communism were suffering a lot of issues and a lot of people are looking to leave the country. But we see, because of freedom of movement with the European Union, sex trafficking is a major issue. If you ever go to Amsterdam and you see the disgusting red light district and these brothels and these, I'm trying to figure the words from, but a lot of these women are trafficked in from Eastern Europe. No checks needed because they hold an EU passport and they can come in because of freedom of movement. So that freedom of movement with countries that maybe shouldn't have gotten it as quickly as they had gotten it, just over 20 years ago now, that's now given a free right to human traffickers to bring in women from those countries, from poorer Eastern European countries, and to put them to work as prostitutes here. Obviously it's slavery that's happening with that, and that's been allowed to happen because of the ease of movement from east to west.
And I was campaigning for the no referendum. And there seems to be a real movement forward from them about people didn't think there was an issue, even nationally, until the referendum came in. I canvassed the no. And
as did I. A lot of us campaign. It was a very guerrilla campaign now, just even telling their friends and family.
Yeah.
And thank God we won in the end.
And even at that, the communication was very vague and ambiguous, a durable relationship. The hate speech is coming in. What's your thoughts on the hate speech?
Absolutely no hate speech laws. We can't allow for it to happen. What we have now, obviously the hate speech legislation that was proposed in the term of the last government fell in the end because there was a clear lack of support, particularly from backbenchers. When this new government came in, minus the Greens, and put in the regional independents, there was some talk in this feeling that, the government won't go for it because it's not popular. Some sort as part of the Greens' social agenda when they were in government. But now we have the European Union telling us that we need to bring in hate speech legislation, despite the fact that our national parliament in its last term didn't take to it. So this is another example of Europe wanting to overturn a democratic decision by the Irish people. The Irish people, through our national parliament, decided not to take up hate speech legislation, but now we have Europe, like with Nice, like with Lisbon, saying, you've made the wrong decision, you need to bring this in. And I'm fearful that the government will, because we have a government that would rather just leave things to Europe, I'm fearful that they will bring in this legislation because of what Europe is telling us to do. And even if they don't, that it could come in one day through a directive from the European Union, so it could just completely supersede our own law anyways. So that's something we need to be fearful of Europe pushing the hate speech laws. And yeah.
And Ireland seems to be the first in everything. We've had the first, and also now in surrogacy. You know, what's your thoughts on the surrogacy bill? Paul, just watch that camera there. There's just a bit of scuffle there behind it.
Well, with surrogacy, look, I'm pro-life. And I'm proud to be pro-life. And that's not for wanting to control anyone. But that's because I believe in the innate value of human life. And the problem with surrogacy and what's being proposed as commercial surrogacy regime is that it commodifies the human being. It allows for babies to be sold as items, really, as
a commodity, a business,
that's what
an
it is.
industry.
And what was it? There is a big concern that you'll have women from poor countries, from non-EU Eastern European countries, from other countries outside Europe, third world countries, that these women, out of economic despair, they'll offer up their bodies for
rooms for rent.
Yeah, rooms for rent. That's what it is. So it completely goes against any idea of the value of human life, because it's placing a price on human life, and I don't believe you can do that.
Have we not learned anything from the modern baby homes, where babies were actually really state and church child trafficking, and surrogacy a form of child trafficking?
And that is a historic ill that still needs to be fully rectified, and something that we need to acknowledge as a stain on our history. But it should act as a lesson as well, in terms of, well, we've seen before what happens when you take a child away from its mother. We shouldn't be repeating that, and I feel like this would just be a new version of it, nearly. But
well, just move over here.
Yeah.
And when you think about it too, is the fact that Ireland, we talk about surrogacy, child trafficking, and human trafficking for sexual exploitation, and even human trafficking for work, where they're not treating and giving the dignity of work or human rights. Or human rights. And Ireland was on tier 2 of the Human Trafficking Act, was on tier 2 of the, there's a big scuffle here. Ireland was on tier 2 of the world's watch list, and was taken off just for COVID because of the travel restrictions. Yet Ireland's land, sea and air borders were all open.
And our borders are still open much more than they should be. And we have these problems out in the country with trafficking of our own children. We obviously see the issues around Tusla, children going missing. I know people like Patrick Tabine have raised it for quite a while now in it all. And if that's happening with our own children, imagine what's going to happen imagine what is already happening with people from abroad being trafficked. If it's happening here at home, then it's certainly going to be happening on a much larger level, I think, with people from abroad, and they're victims in their own way. Like what I was saying before, the women trafficked in from Eastern Europe to work in these brothels in the likes of Amsterdam, where prostitution is legal, where the ability to buy sex is legal, which it shouldn't be. But I think this is going to become
but the child trafficking, where children have no voice.
How
many children go missing every year, and how many babies have been trafficked?
Oh, and you see it. I see it on Facebook every other day. I open up Facebook and there's some notice from local media of Nagarity, this child's gone missing. And you'll notice this is the third or fourth time this has actually been posted about this same child. And a lot of time it's children in care or it's children from troubled families, and you have to wonder what's happening. Because we look only across the water at England, where we saw the mass trafficking and grooming of white British girls by Pakistani rape gangs. That's what apologies to YouTube if I can't use that language, but that's what it was. And these were children who were being failed by the local services, by the local social care services, children from troubled families who weren't being looked after, who didn't have a voice. And unfortunately now, it was too late for so many of them, because so many of those young girls were victimised, and now I know they're talking about a national inquiry. And I fear if we don't get to grips with these issues, or that if our government doesn't even acknowledge these issues early on, I feel by the time we do, it'll be too late, like in England.
In Dublin, there's lots of voices, people talking and really want to ratify this. Do you feel as if the media and politicians are being curtailed?
No, I don't think establishment media or establishment journalists or establishment politicians are thinking about these issues. They don't want to talk about these issues. And no, I'm not saying there's been some big grand conspiracy or anything about it. I just think a lot of these people in these institutions are afraid to rock the boat, and they're afraid to challenge, and they're afraid to point out something when it's wrong. But then when it actually comes out into the mainstream that there's an issue, a lot of these politicians be the first to get up to start screaming bloody murder about an issue, but only after it's happened. Like, you do see it in the role about the trafficking issues. Very few TDs and senators are actually talking about it.
Actually, only Paddy Tabina has actually brought up, from my knowledge, human trafficking. And the Irish Political Roundup, we did a programme about child trafficking for sexual exploitation. And when I was on the local radio, I left radio in 2022. I tried to get so many people to come on and talk about child trafficking, sexual exploitation, and human trafficking, and no one would come on.
I know there are organisations, like I remember organisations like MECPERS and all who are trying to work on this, but yeah, the problem is when the establishment media, when government politicians, when even the vast majority of the opposition don't want to touch this issue, it's hard to get into the national conversation.
How do you do that?
I think it's just, we need to keep talking about it. You need to keep going to your TDs about it. If a radio show is talking about an issue, and even vaguely about this, even if they're talking about anything to do with child protection, call into these shows, make noise, make it part of the conversation. Because we look, for example, this protest here today on immigration. 5 years ago, this was fringe conversation for some in society. Now, this is a major issue in our political discourse. That didn't start because of just politicians. That started because of ordinary people raising the issue and not shutting up about it and not taking guff or not being pushed down when they were pushed back against what the establishment. So I think it's just about keep fighting, keep raising the issue. Because if it's like the immigration issue, you can go from it being a fringe issue where people 5 years ago weren't talking about it. It wasn't an issue on our radar. But now, look here today. Tens of thousands on the streets of Dublin and tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands more around the country who are sympathetic to it. It's gone from a fringe issue to an issue of national conversation, and that's because of people power and people not giving up, people just pushing and pushing. So that's what I'd say.
That's the solution. Well, thank you so much for taking the time on the Irish Political Roundup.
Best luck with it, and you guys are doing brilliant work. There we are.
Oh, thank you so much indeed. Have a great day.
There's a radio station.
You're with When It Happened Farmers Journal. Yeah. We are a YouTube channel, Irish Political Roundup.
Right. Well, I can talk about how all this started from years ago.
Yeah.
And also talk about the housing.
Right.
I know all about the housing because I did 40 years in the council.
Right.
And I know exactly what's going on in the housing.
Okay, tell us about that.
I'm going to tell you from the beginning of the EEC. In 1972, the EEC was formed, and they asked the Irish government to vote to join, and they were going to give them thousands upon thousands of pounds in money to build roads and houses and lots of things, because Ireland was a very poor country way back then. So what happened was, they gave the money, start giving the money over, and then in 1976 they start bringing in the fact that we had to change our feet and inches to the millimeters, centimeters, and meters, and so on. So around 1993, they brought in the Maastricht laws, and the Maastricht Treaty was formed. And they looked at the Irish people and said, hang on, you have to bring in the boat people in from China, and you have to hand them over to Dublin Corporation, but to house them around Montview and Coolock and various other places. This is a great idea, to bring in people from war-torn countries that the councils can give them accommodation. But this is how the accommodation started. Now, what happened then was the government forced everybody to join to vote for the Maastricht laws. So everybody voted. There was no discussion or debates on the television. We say like the Katie Hanna show,
the Late Late Show, to get ideas from everybody, respect them for their ideas, what they're talking about, and to vote yes or no. Now, after that then, in 2002, Bertie Ahern was screaming, roaring and shouting on the radio, on the television, we must join this new currency that they're bringing in, because we're now part of Europe, and they're going to change our Irish passport to a European passport, but we're going to open the it'll open the borders to the fact that anybody can come into Ireland, get accommodation, the whole shebang. Little did anybody know through a crystal ball that we were going to get two countries at war, side by side in different parts of the world, and to say that the foreigners were coming here, and the people that was down for housing were pushed to one side. The Irish people pushed to one side, and all the foreign people were accommodated straight away. Yeah, straight away. So after that, then now, I did 40 years in the council, in the housing department at Dublin Fire Brigade, and what happens is there's over 20,000 more, thousands upon thousands more on the housing list that cannot get accommodation. The reason why they can't get accommodation is the government is not handing the money over to the councils of Ireland. I'm talking about Dublin City Council, Wicklow Council, Cork Councils, all those councils, to build thousands upon thousands of apartments as a starter home for them. And what they do is they're on the house. If they want to go into buy a private house, the council gives them the mortgage. They hand back the key, and the apartment is handed over to the next family. Because apartment living is not for young people with children. Yeah. It's only for people that want to be on their own, or it's no interest in gardening, or basically that kind of thing, and working full time, that has no time to do those things. Now, what they need to do is hand the money over to the councils to get all this. Up in Charlestown in North County Dublin, the Fingal Council is after building about 180 apartments for rent only. Now, those people can stay there as long as they want, and what happens is the lowest rent at the moment is about €35 a week. Now, the way it is with the council is, once you're on the council list and you get a place off them, what they do is you basically come out of there in a coffin, and that's the way it is. So what the councils can do now is, because they also need to build lots and lots of one-bed apartments for people that are now sitting in a 4-bed house around Coolock, Ballyferm, a place like that. I worked in Coolock, I ought to know. And they're looking to downsize. They want to give back the house, and they say, I've nowhere to live. They've no place for me. They've no 1-bed apartment for me, or even a 2-bed apartment. But they need to draw up a proper housing plan to allow people to do it. Now, I'm the first one in the history of the state to bring in the budget plan for the council, because they're owed 190 million in rent that they cannot get back. Because in 1986 or thereabouts, they closed down all the rent offices, and if you have a bottle of beer in one hand and you're renting the other, what are you going to think of first? The bottle of beer. So all the rent starts going up and up and up and up. People are owing over 15,000 in backdated rent. The council cannot get it off them, because the reason why they cannot get it off them is they haven't got the power to be able to say, well, we want this rent back off yours. So this is a kind of a plan system that needs to be drawn up properly with the government and the councils. They need to kind of get together. Now, they also need to bring in a new rule as well with the housing department, that the last man or woman standing in the house must downsize to a smaller place, likes of old folks' places. But there's an awful lot of young people are in houses on their own, and they're under the 65-year age gap to get an old folks that can walk into an apartment, but and surrender the house back. Housing is only for families that want a back garden and a front garden to be able to have their kids out playing in. Apartment living is not for children. Because years ago when Ballymun was built in 1968, 1970, it was kind of opened up. This is what, it's a great insight that children reared in flats need gardens to be able to go out and muck about in the muck and play with their toys and bouncy castles and things like that. So that's...
Do you think will there be design?
What?
Do you think will there be new design to bring to the house?
A whole new design. In actual fact, an apartment living is actually the new name. Apartment living is actually the new name for the old flats in Ballymun. Apartment. I live in an apartment. If you tell people years ago you lived in a flat in Ballymun, you wouldn't get a job. They wanted nothing to do with you.
So we need it. We need to.
Well, you say you need an you're living in an apartment, then they take you on in the job because Ballymun had a bad name in its day, as you know.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to the Irish.
So hopefully I've given you all some ideas.
I think I've lost my bag. I had a black rucksack and I've lost it.
Yeah, you need to. What you need to do is to try and get all this sorted.
Yeah, I need to find my bag.
Is that one over there?
No. What would you go ask one of the stewards if they flash back and
Sorry. Are you one of the stewards? What? Are you one of the stewards here?
Stewards?
Stewards here at the event. Friend. All of the security people, friend of mine, lots of time.
Right.
Yeah, look, back. He was no help at all.
What?
He was no help at all.
I've had my bag stolen, Paul. We had it down beneath us and the street got disappeared. Well, you didn't really hand it into the guard.
Yeah.
I'll go and ask the guard.
Yeah. Well,
This woman wants to ask you about your what
oh yes.
I was just curious to find out what it's about when I saw this man being interviewed.
Yes, it's the Irish Political Roundup.
The Irish which?
Political Roundup, we're a YouTube channel.
Okay.
We're just covering the protest here today. Yeah, we're just here to get people's thoughts on why they came here and what they think of the whole situation. What do you think yourself?
Me? Oh, no, I'm not going to pay attention.
Oh, no.
No, I'm annoyed with the process they're using with the landlords, giving them all the money, the IPAS money and that, it's the state should have done it from the start and not allow private landlords be in control. That's basically it, I mean, this is what's caused a divide between people and the immigrants coming in. That's, the process they used was immoral, unethical.
And during the week, it was announced that the government are going to pay 148 million to buy City West.
City West. Yeah, that's what they're telling us about. How much? What are they buying that we don't know about for their own gain?
Yes.
Their own political gain, or their own gain. Yeah, private gain.
So you think the whole system needs to be totally?
The whole system needs to be reshuffled. Everything. So social welfare system, the whole lot needs a reshuffle. Everything.
And do you think the current?
I'm not being pictured, am I?
No. And you think the current government is capable of making these changes, or do you think it needs to be changed?
Yeah, they have. They need to get a soul. They've traded their soul.
And do you see an alternative to the current government that's already there?
Do I see? Sorry.
An alternative to the current government that is there.
Do I see an alternative? Not at the minute.
So if there was an election in the morning, you wouldn't be sure what way you'd vote?
No, I'd have to do an awful lot more thinking and research.
Absolutely. And have you been to many rallies or protests like this before?
I've been to one. Yeah, I've been to one. So I have. I just got interested in the what I call the injustice system.
Yes.
The injustice system. Because of Fergal Jerry and Seamus McEnany.
Okay.
Big interest in it.
And there's a big crowd here. There's a few thousand. But this is not.
As I'm up this end, I don't know what came after me, or I couldn't see in front of me because I'm only small and that, but there is a good crowd. There's a very good crowd.
And I think this is like there've been rallies. This is the second rally here in Dublin. There's been one in Cork. There's been one in Limerick. Do you think that these protests or events are building momentum?
They're building momentum, but sure, the traitors in government, they're not. They're sitting at home today having their Sunday dinner. They couldn't care less. Laughing. They're laughing at the people. They're still laughing. What do you do to stop that?
So do you think there'll be more protests like this?
There'll be more protests, but are we getting any answers? Are we going to prove anything by it? Where else do we go with it?
Yeah.
I wouldn't go so far with protests.
And what would you like to see come out of protests like this?
Fairness. I'd like to see most certainly the Irish, and especially the Irish and the families that gone before them worked hard. That they get what would I say? That they get what's the word?
Sorry. Yeah. So you feel that there's an imbalance.
There's a big imbalance. Yeah. Big imbalance. Very unfair. Very unfair.
Well, I didn't catch your first name, but thanks a million for taking the time to chat to us here on the Irish Political Roundup.
Okay, right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Yeah. I believe it's Councillor Gavin Pepper is on the stage now, speaking. How you doing? I'm with the Irish Political Roundup. We're just reporting on today's events. Would you like to say a few words? Would you like to say something on camera or off camera? Just your thoughts on the events that are happening here today.
It's a start. It's the start of a new situation.
Yeah.
But they'll have to have to go more anti-World Economic Forum, I think.
Yes.
But the World Economic Forum is the engine that's driving all this crap. Strategic plan and everything.
Okay.
The World Economic Forum will have everything. This group is so far. We've got all them buildings, so you don't know who owns them now.
Yes, they're part of the IFSC.
Like nobody knows where the NGO headquarters are in this country.
Okay.
Nobody knows. If we built up a lot of buildings in the early 1990s, 2000s,
yeah,
they're all empty.
Okay.
So they would have been used for NGOs since that time.
Okay. And have you been to many protests like this in the past? Second one.
I'm trying to get a view to see what's happening. There's a good day here, but you don't get on the mainstream media. What's happening here? This is the real news going on here.
And do you think the government that we have at the moment is capable of dealing with the challenges that we're seeing?
Well, you have Sewer Rat Simon in there. That's Sewer Rat. Who got fucking on what? Got in on the Mr. Rigger.
Okay.
Yes, election was great for him anyway.
And do you see an alternative to the present government that's there at the moment?
Well, we need basically a government that's free of the EU influence for starters. The EU, they are the biggest problem. Both are on the line. If she's unelected, so she should be rejected.
Okay. So you would be the Ireland should look to leave the European Union?
Yeah, because the European Union is basically the CHCR thing. That's just creating backstops where there shouldn't be backstops.
Okay.
Everywhere. Backstop of this, backstop of that.
Right. Well, thanks a million for taking the time to chat to us here on the Irish Political Roundup. And now there's Councillor Philip Sutcliffe. He's on stage now talking to the assembled crowd.
Get the fucking out!
Oh, apologies.
And the electrician was outside. I was writing that for 2 years. I photographed a lot of lights in St. Mary's Place.
Somebody else now on stage. I'm not exactly sure who it is, but and we've got a couple of messages here on YouTube Live, and people are just saying hello. So hello to everyone that has posted a message there, and hello to all the people that are watching. Yeah, spot on.
Make a lot of sense.
Yeah, Ned Kelly. Would I know who? Ned Kelly. No, I wouldn't. Yeah, he's from Australia, I believe.
Oh, not him.
Yeah.
Oh, he's on TikTok.
All right.
He's on TikTok.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, he's here. He's here. He's on TikTok.
Okay. I don't know him at all. No problem.
That'd be housing for all. If you were to say this 20, 30 years ago, there's going to be big marches in Dublin and everything, people would say, we should be locked up in great. What are you talking about? Now look, I do know the chance
You might just have to say it's good talking anyway.
Yes, same for you. Don't forget. Great room. Great room. The best number in the world. Because we went through COVID, we went through recessions and all, and it's still a good job for them. The government jobs, semi-state jobs, each from High Court jobs, absolutely, by all means. You know.
Your channel, Irish Political Roundup. If you go into YouTube and type in Irish Political Roundup, you'll see
Irish Business.
Irish Political Roundup.
Political Roundup.
Yeah.
You don't have any cards or
I don't, unfortunately. My colleague lost their bags.
I hope I remember it.
Yeah.
Are you on TikTok?
I am.
There's so much in it. Car keys, money. Maybe they might announce it on the thing.
What?
There's so much in it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I dream of a day when I make and hope to be able.
That's somebody handed it in over there. The money in it. There's money in it.
There is no
It's only a quick one.
Yeah.
This is what you are going to deserve.
Like if they were that personal,
you will enjoy this.
I hope I spoke well.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sensible. I'm trying the whole thing out. Hopefully somebody will pick up. Hopefully somebody will pick up what I'm saying. So that man is right. That should go viral. I should go viral on things like that. I'm trying to get it out there, you know what I mean? Because I'm retired. I know exactly what happens in housing. I know everything about housing. You know what I mean? Anything you want to know about housing, I could be a housing engineer at this stage. You know, like that's just me.
Well, thank you so
And I'm
much.
enjoying my retirement and stuff.
Really?
I'm only 62. Really? I'm 63 years of age. I'm enjoying my retirement and I'm still on my honeymoon.
Good stuff.
And I'll be on my honeymoon for the rest of my life.
That's the way to have it.
Best job in Ireland.
Yes.
No problem.
And now Councillor Malachy Stevenson is taking to the stage.
Fourthly, it's very little that I can say that everybody else has already said. So I want to reiterate everything that they said. I want to thank everyone for coming here today, and I particularly want to thank all of the speakers, the singers, including my wife, who sang Grace, all of the speakers, and all of those who contributed, whether it's €5 or €10 to the GoFundMe page to set up this sound system. I also want to remember a good friend of ours, Michelle Green, mentioned him in her opening remarks. Father Paddy Ryan, who passed away, was buried last week. The last time I met Paddy was he was sitting on a bench there at one of our rallies last year. The first time I met Paddy was sometime in the late 80s, somewhere in Europe, when we were both engaged on our country business. I'm asking now to have a minute's silence in memory of Paddy Ryan. And if the clergy in this country had more priests like Paddy Ryan, we would not be in the position we are in today. So just have a moment's silence for the life and time of Paddy Ryan. Oh yeah, I actually put it short because the weather's This is a hugely growing movement, and if you look at where we have progressed from East World in November 2022 to where we are today. In April, we had 50,000 people on the streets. Today, we have had more. Look at the reaction from the political class to the 26th of April. When they saw that sea of tricolours, when we took our flag back from those who seek to destroy it. In what country in the world would you have a so-called serious news journalist, or whatever you're going to call him, that's Sean Defoe on News Talk, say that if you fly the tricolour, you are a racist, you are a fascist? Those labels mean nothing to us. We saw the left 2 weeks ago trying to reclaim the tricolour. They've lost it. We have taken it back. We never lost it. We saw a video yesterday from the provisional. They couldn't even do their own video. They had to copy the great Andy Griggs video. And I don't think any of their mothers were ironing the flags. They're down there in Bodenstown at the grave of Wolf Tongue. Wolf Tongue's main concentration was the unity of Catholic, Protestant and Dissenter in the common name of Irishmen. But in order to achieve that, you have to break the connection with England. How is it that His Majesty's First Minister in the 6th County Station can stand and speak at the grave of Wolf Tongue? But it exposes them for what they are. Micheál Martin, a number of months ago, called us mongrels. Well, unfortunately, we're not mongrels, we're thoroughbreds. But let Micheál Martin be very clear. The mongrels and the thoroughbreds are fighting back. Just to go back to Defoe's comments on the sidebar. People remember when George Hughes got work for News Talk. And he said after a rape trial that Young girls going out at night should be careful. He was sacked. Why is the phone not sacked? The Flags Initiative has moved on, and in the inner city, people are erecting tricolours on street poles. That is the next part of this project, along with flying tricolours from your own home. Yep. I'm not even going to mention what class for a group of protesters were rolling. Or their attempt to bring people onto the streets last week about housing. And then rather on about housing, it's everybody's fault, it's the government's fault. It's the landlord's fault. It's the bank's fault. But they will never mention the fact of the huge increase in population is what is driving up the price of houses and the scarcity of housing. But that is what is driving up rent up and down this country. We are truly living in a dystopian world. One of the other speakers mentioned that the state now has decided that it owns your organs and your bodies. What happened? My body, my choice. Last week, the British Parliament in Westminster voted to kill children up to the time of death or birth, and to kill our own people whenever they want. That's the type of world that is being created. People want to know where we go from here. And we have been engaged right throughout this country with talks of progressing this movement. We have taken part in the IFP's initiative to bring people closer together and to unify into some grouping. The working title that we run this rally under and that we're pursuing this project under is Grana Heron. And I can think of no other title that reflects exactly what we have. Love of Ireland. That's all we need. We don't need a fancy title because that's why we're here. Love of Ireland, love of family, love of our children, and love of our future. As one of the earlier speakers announced, the next major rally is in Waterford, I think on the weekend of the 26th of July. The one after that is in Galway on the weekend of the August bank holiday. I think it's the 2nd of August. Everybody should do their best to get to those two rallies. As we go through this period, some of the most crucial issues facing us are housing, health, education. None of those issues can be resolved in any way unless we close the borders to IPAS applications and also to any other work visa applications. This country simply cannot sustain any further increases in population. I would ask people here, because some people are finding it difficult to contact them. At the moment, if you just go to one of the websites we have, monarchy.ie, that'll be the easiest one to find. Send a DM to that, which I can email and your details, and we will get in contact. I also wanted to thank, because none of this would get any publicity without our citizens owning it. Next interview by Philip Dwyer, David Delaney, and many others. I want to thank the international media who give us more coverage than the national media. Yep. I'm sure if this is even mentioned the last week tonight, there'll be about 50 people here. And when the broadcast media talk about citizens only, and they say, oh, well, you haven't got a degree in journalism. you didn't go to British College or whatever, or you don't work for us. The only requirement of a journalist is to tell the truth. And when they said about Philip that they want to stop citizen journalists spreading what they said was misinformation, Philip is live streaming here. You can't edit it. It's what you see is what you get. Right, I'm going to have to look out because the weather. Thank you.
Right.
We all want to get home, but if you for a minute, it's just few games. One is the protest this season at half 6 in City West. You can contact with the organisers if you want to head over.
We are, yeah.
Just really just to talk to other news outlets who are coming from abroad.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. And I hold the umbrella there.
Hello.
And as Roisin gets ready.
I'm just going to get ready, get my mic and put my mic on.
There's national anthem is going behind us.
Hello, I am with Rebel News. Hello.
Hi, my name is Lincoln J, and I'm a video journalist with Rebel. I'm usually, a lot of the time I'm behind the camera, but I do some stuff in front of the camera, which I'm doing today.
And I saw on the social media that you arrived and you went up to Belfast and then you came down, but your other boss isn't here this time, but he was down in Cork.
Yep, he comes down quite often. He likes to cover what's going on in Ireland, and I think the first time that Rebel News went up to Northern Ireland also, so we covered what was going on down there. But like I said, he likes to come down. We like to come down. I've been here a few times, but producing here has been a few times. People are lovely, food is great, and huge turnout again.
Huge turnout. And the rain is pouring down. But thank you very much for coming and talking to the Irish Political Roundup. And you're up north. I'm originally from the Derry, so that's where I'm originally from. So what do you think is about what is happening in Ireland?
Well, the most interesting thing is just to see how many people publicly come out and stand up against it. We have similar problems in Canada, and you'd never see anything like this. So, it seems to be growing. Like, the numbers are always huge every time I come. We've covered different stuff in Dundrum, what was happening in Coolock, the protests here in Dublin. So it's very interesting to see how many people come out and support it. It's people from all walks of life,
And what gives you the interest in what is happening in Ireland from Canada?
Well, the main thing is because we have similar issues, right? We have tons of migration, right? Legal, illegal, maybe not as much illegal, but, we have to look at the numbers, but we have a lot of issues too. Housing is so expensive, everything is just expensive, but the population continues to increase. So it's interesting to see that people stand up here.
Well, thank you so much indeed. And it's lashing down. It's lashing.
Thanks for speaking.
Thank you so much indeed. And thank you and welcome to Ireland.
Yes, best of luck to you. And thank you very
too.
much.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay then, bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. It's lashing. It's cruel to interview you in the rain.
Well, thank you again for being so kind, and I guess we'll probably catch each other at another protest or something.
Okay, take care and God bless. And have safe. When do you travel back?
Tomorrow morning.
Well, safe travels. Okay, God bless. Bye. And Paul, it is lashing rain.
Oh, it is.
It is lashing. Yeah, okay, I think that was me. Yes! You did. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. You're nice. I got my handbag. Can't wait to interview you. Yeah. Because you know what? We lost the sound, and I had to buy all new. And I was raging, but we put it up anyway. But we did a voiceover because I didn't want to. Come on, Graham. We're talking. So here I am. Paul will put the umbrella over the lady herself. Indeed. So you don't get wet, Mary.
Oh, you're very good.
So I am here with Mary Stevenson. Paul, are we in view? I get too close, Paul. Probably too close. Let me have a look at the frame. No. Paul, we have to bring it down for me and Mary. We're very petite.
Yeah.
Tiny.
You found your bag?
I did. I got my bag. Isn't that amazing? I'm so grateful to get my bag.
Yeah.
Mary Stevenson, how are you? I'm like a drowned rat, Mary. Look at me.
Yes, so am I.
So I'm with Mary Stevenson, the woman behind the man, and behind every great man's a better woman.
Better woman, you better believe you.
So Mary, we met you down in Cork, but our audio went, so hence I have new equipment here and listening in. Mary, tell us about I hate the word journey, but tell us about the experience that you and your husband, Councillor Madigan Stevenson, has had.
Well, Malky's always been a political activist, but in 2022, in November, he was approached by some people from East Wall. They were concerned because an iPass centre had opened and people had actually gone into it, and they were having a protest outside on the Saturday, so Malky and I went down to see what exactly was happening. It was the first we'd heard of anything like that. You know, it wasn't around the country like it is now. So just progress from there. People wanted Malky to speak on their behalf. So we did hold various rallies down East Wall itself. We held up traffic, and then we had rallies during the week. We went across town, we went to the Dáil, and it's kind of spiraled since then. And it was only, I think, the last maybe 18 months that people actually woke up in the country, because a lot of people were calling us names, they were spitting at us, they were really, I mean, people that I knew, like spitting at you in the street and calling you names, which I couldn't understand. They were calling me racist, which I never understood that, because I really couldn't shit about colour. Everybody's no, people are entitled to lead their lives and be who they are, but the problem was the country was being overloaded with people. There was no accommodation for them. The government had invited these people in and left them having to go into tents. So there was a battle.
That's inhumane.
That was inhumane, yeah, but people didn't realise that that's what we were about. There was a battle for the tents then between the homeless immigrants that were coming into the country and our own homeless. And then, of course, we got into a situation where we had the Ukrainians. They came along and they were getting housed. And the Irish homeless just kept getting bigger and bigger. And people, I think, are at a stage now. And, I mean, that's what they've been saying to us, get them out. And I keep saying we have to get the government out. They're not doing their job. They're being paid a lot of money, and they're not doing their job. And it's as simple as that. If I wasn't doing my job, I'd be fucking thrown out of it, and rightly so. And they should be thrown out of it, because they're not looking after their own. It's not just about the Irish, but they're not looking after the homeless. They're not looking after hospitals. We know the waiting lists are massive. I mean, I know myself. I have a special needs granddaughter with me. I can't get any help for her. So they're all kind of getting put in the back burner. And for the government to look good in Europe, they're looking after the newer people that are coming into the country, but none of it is fair to anybody. It really isn't, and it's very, very frustrating.
It's like it's like divide and conquer.
Well, that's the way the government operates, and I'm always saying it is divide and conquer. That's all they know, is divide and conquer. And that's why people need, when they know there's a protest in Dublin in particular, because it is the capital, that's why if they can get to a protest in Dublin, they should. It's not about fighting with the black man that's living down the road. We don't want that. We don't want fighting on our streets. It's about making the government accountable for their behaviour. And I mean, fun to look at the country, the state that it's in. It's everywhere. But at least now, I mean, we do have rallies in the likes of Roscommon, Athlone, Blessington. I mean, it's just gone crazy. The government will not listen to people at all.
You know, people are saying the government isn't doing its work. Is there an alternative, do you think?
Well, I mean, the only alternative really is to get the government out. They're not doing their job, and there's only so much people can put up with. And if they don't start making some attempt at sorting something out, I'm afraid that people will take the streets, and there will be violence, as we saw in November there. What, 2 years ago, is it now? This year?
Though a lot of people would say that wasn't the people from Dublin. It was so the other people coming in.
Yeah, but the point about it is, it doesn't matter who it was. It was caused because a foreign national had sliced the throat of a child from there to there.
The little school children.
Yeah, the school children in Parnell Square. Yes. And, you know, that was all hidden, and the teachers weren't allowed to discuss it. Their phones were taken off them. I know that for a fact. You know, that should have been highlighted, and that's what started all that violence off.
No one's listening to the ordinary people.
Nobody's listening to the ordinary people, and, like, I'm concerned for the likes of my granddaughter. You've met her. She doesn't speak.
Oh, is that your granddaughter?
That's my granddaughter, Taylor, yeah. She doesn't speak. She doesn't get the help that she should be getting. And she's only one, and I think I'm lucky with her. But there's so many mothers, and like I said before, my niece was over at the doll. I cried looking at her on Facebook. She has a special needs little fella. He's 5 or 6 now, and she can't get a school place for him. And that's just not good enough. You know, it's not good enough. And I'm not saying that the black kid next door will get one. I don't know whether he will or he won't. But the government should ensure that those places are available for its citizens, for, you know, the Irish children that are being born. And his mother, God love her, she's out doing a bit of work, trying to, you know, make ends meet and have a nice life for him. Why should she have to fight for help for him and for school places? Why? Why do mothers have to do that?
The government says they have numerous amount of money.
Well, they keep talking about all the money they have, but I don't know what they're doing
But
with
here
it.
comes your husband, Councillor Malachy. See, we can put the umbrella over the two of you. Malachy, unfortunately, our volume went on our last video, hence we bought the new mics and everything else. Malachy, tell me, today, Cork was a success and today's a success.
Cork was a success, Limerick was a success, I believe.
Yes.
We couldn't make Limerick. Today is a huge success, and, you know, we have rallies in Dundalk next week, I think that is, and
rallies in RD as well.
In a couple of weeks, then there's Waterford, then the August bank holiday is Galway. So this has grown hugely around the country, and every protest is getting bigger and bigger. And ordinary people are not afraid now to come out and say that they stand with us and they stand for the future of our island, in the way that we want it, not the way that the political and liberal class dictate it.
And you know, a lot of people are saying, oh, it's the working class. This is not a class issue, because I've met people here today and in Cork, and the people who Paul and I speak to off air, that from working class to middle class is all concerned.
Everybody is concerned. Everyone is concerned.
But I think all of those labels are of no value anymore.
No, like far right, no value.
Yeah,
no.
And
people know now that was just used.
Just by and large, what the left would say they represent the working class. The left now represent the liberal classes, the woke liberals, basically. They've no interest in the traditional working class. And, you know, our movement now represents people across the spectrum. But it is a class issue in the sense that there are no iPass centres in Ballsbridge.
No.
There are none in Howth. There's none in Dalkey. And it seems, you know, when this government says you can't have a veto over who lives in your areas, that seems to only be for working class areas or lower middle class areas, but it doesn't apply to the great and the good of our society.
And so much is happening. You mentioned up there, even down to the organs and people having to opt out. I opted out within minutes of it going on air.
It's frightening.
It's frightening. You know, we talk about child trafficking, human trafficking, and now is that really legalising organ trafficking?
Well, I think that's the slippery slope. And, you know, normally people on their driving licence, you can tick the box to be a donor. And I did that.
I did
but
that
now
too.
I'm opting out of the current regime because, again, it goes back to their great mantra was my body, my choice. Well, if I want to donate my organs, that's a matter for me. It's not a matter for them to tell me I have to do it. Because then you're into the situation that you have in some South American countries where people are just being kidnapped and
the organs.
and their organs have been sold. You know?
And then who's going to decide if somebody needs an ambulance, and who's going to be deciding whether that person is resuscitated or whether we need organs.
And you see, they tell us that we're scaremongering and all of those things. We only have to look at abortion, where all of these
And
arguments,
surrogacy.
where all of these arguments were made. And in relation to surrogacy, during the abortion referendums, the Handmaid's Tale was being run around as, some kind of dystopian world. But that's exactly what surrogacy is, And we had the British Parliament last week voting to kill your child up to birth, although that's already legal here under the current
And
legislation.
SDLPs voted
And then to
for
kill your
it.
granny.
Yeah. John Hume must be turning in his grave.
Well, I'm not so sure. Because the SDLP, in fact, voted for both of those pieces of legislation in the North, or in Britain. They certainly voted in relation to the abortion change. And I presume they probably did. They called for abortion in the North.
Malachi, where do we go from here?
Well, we go and we build this movement and we drive it on, as we've been doing for the past 2.5 years, and we will achieve success. But none of us know what tomorrow will bring, and we have to be prepared for all eventualities.
Last week we met you, and you were being interviewed by Mr. Steve Bannon over in America on the War Room and Real American Voices. So it is getting across to America what is happening here in Ireland.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it gets much more coverage from channels like the ones you mentioned, and right throughout Europe. I mean, there are more foreign journalists here today than there are no. I didn't see any Irish journalists here. I didn't see one RTE camera or one Virgin Media camera. Well, not that I expected. There were probably the other protests where they'll, say, and even on News Talk this morning, they gave a minute and a half to that protest and just mentioned that there was an anti-immigration protest. And this is not an anti-immigration protest. This is a protest and a rally against all government policy, really. I don't think there's any policies that this government is implementing that people here agree with.
Well, Malachi, Councillor Malachi Simpson and your beautiful wife Mary, we just want to thank you for taking the time to speak to the Irish Political Roundup. You probably have to get off and talk to other media, but thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah. God bless. Okay, thank you so much. Bye-bye. And that is a wrap so far, Paul, from the live here on the Irish Political Roundup on YouTube Live. Our first YouTube Live, Paul.
First YouTube Live, and thank God, Roisin, you found your bag.
found my
with
bag.
Walkie's book. Thank God we found it.
No, I probably didn't go walkie. Somebody probably picked it up and handed it in.
Yep.
So thank God. And so that is a wrap from us from the Irish Political Roundup, where we like to tell the Irish political story in an unbiased, un-narrative way, where we just tell the story of what from ordinary people are talking about, from what different politicians are talking about, and that is what we're about.
Absolutely, and it was fantastic, Roisin, to talk to people from a wide range of backgrounds. They said this is not a class issue anymore. You know, the thousands of people that came out today, they genuinely feel that they're not being listened to, and by the numbers and the flags that were being shown there, there is a movement here, and it is growing.
But, you know, as Councillor Madigan Stevenson said, which is a fact, and it is factual, that you know, one part of it is a classes where, you know, undocumented people who are unvetted of going into IPAS centres, which is not even being communicated with the local people, but in certain more affluent areas, they can say no. Paul, you just hold that for me. We just can say no. So, but again, we're speaking to very top professional people, and they're telling us, keep doing what you're doing, Roisin and Paul. You know, we're all very concerned. The country's divided. Everything is happening. We need stability in our country, and you know, we here at the Irish Political Roundup, we are not about keeping to one narrative. We, as we said from when we opened the channel and launched the channel 3 years ago, that we like to give voice to the people who don't normally get on any other, whether it's small local radio or media, or whether it's national or regional media. We like to give a voice to the people who don't ordinarily have a voice.
And it was great to talk with John Tracy from on
online meeting. We met him last
who
week.
we met last.
And I met a couple of when I was looking for my bag, Paul. I met other online media. But this isn't just about being media. This is about everyone telling the political story and the social story, the economic story of ordinary lives in Ireland. This is not about being far right or far left. This is not about being far right agitators. We need to actually stop that narrative. And maybe if anyone called us far right agitators, I think there'd be a defamation case.
I think there would.
So, and we would give the defamation case. Paul, I know I had to leave you when I was away looking for my bag earlier, so I do apologise about that.
That's okay, but all's well.
All's well, ends well. And
fair play to the person that handed in their bag.
And I'm drowned, Paul.
Yeah.
My glasses have even got rain on it.
Yeah, exactly. But no, it was a great opportunity to come up and see. I haven't.
I've never had a protest in my life.
Really?
Not, this isn't a protest. I would say it's a protest, but is it a rally? What is it? I've never had a protest before, and but I thought we discussed it. And we thought we didn't think we knew that we had to give this. We had to give it coverage on the Irish referendum. We give everybody coverage.
And there are more of these rallies taking place in the next number of weeks. There's one the end of July in Waterford, and there's one bank holiday weekend in Galway. So this is a movement and it is growing. So it'll be interesting to see how these rallies fare outside of the capital.
Well, Paul, look how quickly everybody has dispersed. Look at how what I've noticed down in Cork as well was how good the organisation was, how good the liaison was between the Garda Síochána and the marshals and the organisers, and also the attendees.
Absolutely, it's very, very well run. A lot of families, Roisin.
Families again with their dogs and everyone was so nice. Even when we were trying to get through the crowd, everybody got out of the way, and it was another experience for us, Paul, as a media platform.
Exactly.
And our audience is a varied audience.
Varied.
But it's just telling the political story.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, Roisin. It's you have to be able to show both sides. And unfortunately, our mainstream media, you're only getting one side of the story, and that's never good. So
hegemony in the media.
As you said, Roisin, we give the viewers both sides, and you can make your own mind up and use critical thinking.
Exactly, Paul. And you know what? My glasses haven't even got the rain on, but we'd like to thank you for the viewers, and tuning in. And for our first YouTube live, please forgive us if anything that wasn't perfect. But you know what? Life isn't perfect, and that's what being live is about.
Exactly.
That's what I miss about not being on radio, Paul. Is the live, because anything can go wrong.
Anything can happen. Yep. Anything can happen.
So I missed that, Paul. When I left radio, I missed being live, and when that red light went on, you knew.
Exactly.
So I miss it. You're still on local radio.
I have indeed,
so you still have that live experience. But no, the sun is coming out now. Everybody's dispersed, and everybody's gone. So we're gonna go, and if we find anybody who we can give an interview with, we will do a pre-record. But from us, from me, Roisin de Clark,
and me, Paul Ruffin, I'd like to say, Roisin, thanks very much. You did the driving up as well, so I appreciate that, and thanks for all your great work that you do here on the Irish Political Roundup. For our viewers, so what you see here is only probably a tiny percentage of what really goes in behind the scenes, and this lady does absolutely Trojan work behind.
Well, you do put as well, Paul. It's a mutual respect and mutual gratitude and appreciation.
I wanted to get that out there live. This woman does absolutely Trojan work behind the scenes. There's no doubt about it.
Well, I always, and if I have any difficulty, who do I call?
Me. Or Keelan.
Or Keelan. So Keelan, to my son, he's serving overseas in South Lebanon, and to all the 126 Infantry Battalion over there, thank you for your service, and I can't wait to see you until you come back, Keelan, and Quailon. So anyway,
Lots of love to everybody over there, and thinking of you all and your families, and thinking to everybody who's living in any kind of fear or anything else. And until next time, bye bye from us. Now we have to learn how to turn it off, Paul.
Yeah.
Bye bye. And everything is dispersed, and it's so clean. There isn't even a paper on the ground, Paul. And the guys.